Hi everybody, hope you're safe and well, and in this next video we are going to look at Chapter 9. We're into the series of 7, we could say 7th series of videos, and we're getting into Chapter 9. The last video was just about basic chord strumming from one of the earlier chapters and some of the Chapter 8 strumming. So now we're going to just review what was done in some of the Zoom meetings and what is in the book by Mary Jo Disler on page 52, chapter 9, and this is just a breakdown of how to make a simple chord chart. And I will ask you to do this on the final, so I'm going to give a couple examples and do the worksheets here just so you can get an idea of how to make your own simple chord chart and what the elements are. So in the beginning, letter A here, she says published song formats and conversion to charts. So she gives two types, a lead sheet and piano, vocal, guitar scores. The lead sheet is what we have in both of our books. This is the form where the music is notated, the melody, in other words, the singer's part is notated. Oftentimes words are included if there are some. And because it could be instrumental too, without a vocal part, just an instrumental part playing the melody. The chord names then are written above the staff. Sometimes you'll get a suggested strumming pattern, sometimes you won't. But the actual chord names are written above the music. So you could go back to any of the pieces in the Hal Leonard book that were on test 1 where you played the melody, like Amazing Grace or Orally, and you'll see there's chords written above that music, and that's a lead sheet. It gives you the basic harmony or chords on the top and the melody on the bottom. And this is basically what she calls a shorthand of the music. It could be expanded from there if you know what the basic chords are for a whole band to play the accompaniment. Or guitar or piano could do a simple accompaniment. In the second version, there's a piano, vocal, guitar score, and you will see these editions out and about, online in a music store as well. And this is pretty typical for songbooks for community singing, folk songs, like American folk songs. You'll see this for holiday music of different types. And this is a great kind of overall score that allows a lot of people to play together. It has a piano score written on 2 staffs with a vocal score above that. And then the guitar score basically is chord names above the music as well as pictures of chords. This is actually a pretty friendly type of score. So again, if you have musicians in your family, and you wanted to try and get a impromptu music session going, you could bring a book like this along. If you work in volunteer with kids or with older folks and you want to try and play music with other people, it includes a piano part, so a piano player can just jump in, a guitar player can strum the chords, and somebody can play the melody or sing the melody. So this is a great type of score too. But again, we're looking for only 3 basic elements, whether we're looking at a lead sheet or a piano, vocal, guitar score. We want to look at the time signature. Tells us how many beats are played per measure, imperative for the feel of the song. Second, the measure lines, because that will tell me how long a particular chord is going to be played. G chord for 3 measures, for example. Excuse me. And then number 3, what chord do I actually play? So remember, these elements all need to be in your simple chord chart or your chord chart. It is the time signature, the measures, and the chords. And you can see that in this first example here. So here's a lead sheet of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. We look at the time signature, it's 4/4, and then again, a chord is given, but for several measures, no other chord is given. So you would continue to play that harmony of A for 1, 2, 3 measures, okay, until the new chord is given. So I've got the time signature, the actual chord I have to play, and then the measure lines. These are all crucial for how to make your lead sheet. So this one's been done for us. They took the information, which I'm going to remind you is already all here on the score. All of this information is here. It's time signature, brought down to the simple chord chart or the lead sheet chord chart here. The first chord A for 1, 2, 3 measures, 1, 2, 3 measures. E7 for 2 measures, E7 for 2 measures. A for 1, 2 measures, represented here, 1, 2, and then 1 measure of E7 and 1 measure of A. And you really do want to put the double bar or the repeat sign in for each one of these examples. I'm going to quickly play He's Got the Whole World in His Hands with this mixed strum rhythm down here, which is down, down, up, down, down, up. So here it is. Again, I can read this off the simple chart or the lead sheet, and it should be exactly the same either way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, let me misfret it there. I'm going to start one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 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 3, So there's my accompaniment with mixed strum rhythm number 2. Let's see if we can build one of these ourselves. This is the next page. Again, I'm in chapter 9 of the Disler, and you could do this with any of the songs in the Hal Leonard book too, but I'm going to make my own chart here. So I look at my 3 elements: time signature, chord, and how many measures of G there are. So I'll start with the time signature. See if we can put a little more light on this. Got my time signature of 4/4. Let me move that over a little bit. Okay, and then I see the chord is G, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4 measures of G. D7 is next, and it's only 1 measure. G for 1 measure, C for 1 measure, and then I've got a problem here of 2 chords splitting the measure in half. What I'm going to do there is, what's understood is the chord itself represents 1 quarter note, and then a slash represents another quarter note. D7 would be beat 3, and the slash would be beat 4. So there's my measure. It would be as if the slashes were written into the score there. And I know as a player to play 2 beats of G and 2 beats of D7, and then the final measure, again with a double bar. And this gives me the entire song, G, D7, G, C, G, D7, G. Mapped out. And if I were to do this, she has a brush damp stroke. Make a light fist. This is what she's describing here on the bottom of the page. Make a light fist, brush the fingernails across the strings with a flicking motion towards the floor is what she means. And it will give you that type of sound. Then use the same motion and damp the sound so the strum would sound like this. How am I damping the sound? I'm using the palm, the edge of the palm of my right hand to lay down on the strings. So I'll do a run through of this song that way too. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I get that short chord when I dampen it, and you could hear at the end I only played G, excuse me, twice, and D7 twice as well. All right, moving on, we'll do the last, well, there's two more examples in this chapter. We'll do Down in the Valley, and here I have 3/4 time. So again, my three elements: time signature, chord, and measure lines. It appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4 chords of D, A7 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then D for 2 with the double bar. An interesting pattern here given for this song is at the bottom, root, chord, chord. So again, I've been emphasizing from the very beginning what the root is for each chord, and it's because as you develop as a guitarist, you're going to start using different techniques where you need to isolate that root. So for the D chord, I'll isolate the D string, and then I'll strum the chord twice, trying not to include the root string. So I'll play 4th, 3 and above. And when the A7 comes around, I'll play 5th, 4 and above. So here's a run through of Down in the Valley. 3 beats per measure: bass, chord, chord, or root, chord, chord. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This one does have a repeat on it, but just for time's sake, I'll only play through that one time. If you come across a chord ever that you don't recognize, you can just copy that chord name down. So if there's a chord like A7, let's say, that I don't know how to play, I would just put that chord down, and then I can investigate that. And again, other players might have an idea what to do for a more advanced chord too, and can help you out there as well. Okay, so I am going to stop the video there, guys. Have a great day. And again, practice doing that because it will be on the final.